The California State Attorney General joined the Sierra Club in litigation against the city of Moreno Valley last June because of the city's poor general plan update and climate action plan, CAP, in large because of warehousing impacts. He was quoted in the Press Enterprise as follows: We're intervening today so the communities do not continue to bear the brunt of poor land use decisions and sites of warehouses at their doors. He continued to explain that these Moreno Valley communities live at the intersection of poverty and pollution. With one family home only 17 feet away, another at 19, from its almost 100,000 square feet of warehousing, this area surrounded project is the poster child for the Attorney General's quotes, and he is still involved in the litigation process against Moreno Valley. The planning department wants you to believe that this is two separate 49,000 plus square feet warehouses of a total of over 99,000 square feet. They believe since neither warehouse is above 50,000 square feet, then a zoning change is not required or not needed. But we know that they are doing this morally and ethically wrong because this is a single project of almost 100,000 square feet of warehousing and comes with all the negative impacts of a project that size. You must demand a zone change before you vote on this project, and ideally a demand for a full EIR. So you will know the cumulative impact when this project pollution burdens are added to those already existing in our non-attainment area. And within the census tract is in the worst 1% of all of California for pollution and other social economic impacts. The SQAMD wrote in their letter to the city about this warehouse project. According to the MATS 5 Carnegistic Risk Interactive Map of the area surrounding the proposed project has an estimate of a cancer risk of over 372 per 1 million. Operation of this warehouse generates and attracts heavy-duty diesel fuel trucks that emit DPM.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have Mark Iverson, followed by John McDermott.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Mark Iverson. I'm the General Manager of Box Springs Mutual Water Company. We've been working with the developer for over a year to plan what water system improvements would be required for this project, and it brings a lot of valuable improvements to our service area. About over 2,000 feet of new pipeline and some improvements to the booster station. So we definitely support this project.
Thank you.
Next, we have John McDermott, followed by Shane. Yes, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is John McDermott. I've been a resident of the area in question, Edgemont, since 1981. Came out here to March Air Force Base. I'm also a member of the American Legion, and the American Legion will like to say the following. The American Legion Morrison Memorial Post of 574 is in support and welcomes this project to our city. We believe that the jobs and infrastructure improvements that this development will bring to an area of Moreno Valley that has long been in need of some positive developments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Shane, followed by Bob Palomares.
Hi, my name is Shani Sais, and I actually, for full transparency, work for CCAJ, the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice. But today I come to you as a Moreno Valley resident. I live on Day Street, right where Eucalyptus and Day meet, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about a trend that we see in this city that we continue to sacrifice public health for warehousing. We already know that this region is one of the worst in the country for air pollution, and yet we still invite these diesel trucks to not only destroy our infrastructure, but to poison our lungs with PM 2.5, causing us to get things like asthma and COPD. I mean, I don't come to many of these meetings because I want to, but it's because I have to. Because I have to fight for the health of future generations that aren't here. I have 2 kids that are under 2, and I'm worried that by the time they get old, they're not going to have any clean air to breathe. I understand that there needs to be jobs for the city and there needs to be improvements. The problem is the location of this warehouse is dangerously close to family residents. And though they were not originally intended to be there in the zoning plan, they're still there. These people who live in these houses will be poisoned by one of the most poisonous pollution contraptions we have here in California. I mean, we look at things like CARB, SQAMD, and we are striving to further and further push for a net zero, net neutrality, the clean fleet rule, good neighbor guidelines. But I come to my own backyard and we are selling public health and sacrificing our health for warehousing. And that's just not okay. We can make developments in the city without sacrificing our health. That is not mutually exclusive. So I'm just here to just voice my concern about this development. And I understand that we need to somehow come out of balance, but I feel like we're not doing enough. Especially with infrastructure and old housing, when we add new equipment, who's then left on the hook for paying for these new improvements? What kind of community bargaining agreements do we have for people who can't afford it? And why are all these warehouses in areas where people who can't find a new solution besides working in a warehouse? We have many more solutions than just selling our public health, and I think that you need to think about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Bob Palomares, followed by George Haig.
Again, good evening. We know right just north of the American Legion, they're already grading for a light industrial building that was approved. And I've seen it, it's beautiful. And the one I see now by these people is just as beautiful. I mean, when you come to Moreno Valley, you better bring the best, because I know the planning commission is going to drill you, you know, to make sure, and the city also, to make sure that, you know, you're up to par with everything. So a lot of these developers, they come with additional perks for this city. You know, some people say, well, you know, it's going to be more traffic. Well, we know it's going to bring some local jobs. That's for sure. And right now, the way gas is, believe me, I'd rather get $20 at one of those places and not spend $300 a week driving to Pomona and back. I just drive 5 minutes home. So, you know, this is just a big benefit to that area and the city. Because you see the photographs and you all know what it looks like. It's terrible. This is just, and then they're going to bring a lot of improvements. So, and then down the road, you know, I know the pollution, but, you know, gradually, and they're speeding it up, electric vehicles, and they're coming. A lot of people saying, oh, wow, that makes no difference. Well, for every 3 vehicles, car vehicles, equals 1 diesel truck. But how many are passing through the 215 freeway vehicles? Nobody counts that, you know, that's the pollution that's up there. As a matter of fact, South Coast Air Quality Management District, you know, they go up there and they test the particles in the air. They find particles that come from Asia. You know, that's not ours, but nobody's going to China to complain. So I know you'll make the right decision. This is a win-win right here. I hope you approve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have George Haig, followed by Luis Palomares.
George Haig, Marina Valley resident. The first speaker talked about a letter from AQMD that showed that this area has 372 in 1 million for the project cancerous. I do not believe staff sent you that letter and for this project, and it's probably in a pile of letters in front of you. The project's own analysis showed it did increase harmful pollution, but stated it was just below the 10 in 1 million standard and therefore not a problem. But it is a major cumulative problem that AQMD pointed out, and as a full EIR would show. AQMD's other letter, sent about 2 weeks ago, also included important recommendations, but again, it's not included in what is before you. Staff also appears to have failed to share the full wording of the city's own document related to Business Park. The complete text reads as follows. The primary purpose of the Business Park District is to provide for light industrial research and development, office-based firms, and limited supporting commercial and attractive and pleasant working environment, and a prestigious location. The last sentence reads, the district is intended to provide a transition between residential and other sensitive uses and more intense industrial and warehouse uses. That sentence is left off. The Cottonwood and Edgemont almost 100,000 square feet warehouse next to family homes doesn't meet this criteria, and you must vote to deny this misplaced project. Because of the very short timeline for comments after notices of this project and your meeting, the Sierra Club attorney sent you a letter today. That letter contains a great deal of information based on the city's general plan update and climate action plan, documents with which you should all be very familiar and need to study several times if you are not. What is in the attorney's letter should have been shared by staff with you and required of the developer during the process. There's many suggestions, mitigations that need to be automatically part of this warehouse and others, such as solar, EV charging that is installed and ready to go. I sent the city a chart last night that shows the prohibited uses in this special March Air Reserve compatibility zones, such as hospitals, schools, libraries, hotels, restaurants, and most other uses are not prohibited. The chart is probably in front of you in the pile of papers. Please do not accept that warehousing is what must go in these family homes. Please vote no tonight and tell the developer as well as staff that this location is not appropriate for a warehouse. If they think it is, then recommend the project come back with a full EIR. Remember the World Logistics Center, 26 warehouses, 6 million square feet going on every year for the next 7 years. Plenty of jobs.
Thank you.
Next, we have Luis Palomares, followed by Gabriela. Luis stepped out. I apologize. So we'll go ahead and go to Gabriela.
Hi, good evening. Gabriela Mendez. I'm a Mobile resident. I'm so glad I made it on time. I was in class. So I came up here to say, as a resident of the city of Moreno Valley, that I am opposing this project. I don't believe that it is in an appropriate location near sensitive receptors. We have a lot of truck traffic already in the city. It is very overwhelming for me to drive every single day to work and to school with the amount of traffic, and it is because of the the overwhelming amount of developments that have come into the city already. We have a lot of developments also coming into the region in other parts that are nearby, right, like really close to us, Paris, Riverside, connecting cities, and even cities everywhere, right? And we have junctions to major ports in LA. So it's definitely, we have to take into consideration that we are becoming a hub for the rest of the state and potentially parts of the nation too. And I don't think that the IE should carry that burden. That we've done our part. There's developments that are already on their way. I don't think it's necessary. I firmly don't believe that it's necessary to bring any more developments, especially with also the pollution that's existing currently in our communities. I'm familiar with the Calamaro screen, and I've seen the numbers that exist here. We are very high on the census tract for PM 2.5, which comes from trucks. Right. And I live here with my family, so I'm really concerned about my health. I'm concerned about my brothers, and I have two young nieces and a nephew who also are going to be growing up here. So we hope that you can make the right decision and oppose this project to protect our health and to make sure that you're looking out for the best interests of your residents. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Luis Palomares.
Luis Palomares, community activist. I had to go to the bathroom. Sorry about that. They throw all the statistics, all of this. We don't know if any of that's all true. We don't know if that's true. We're all going to die. I mean, Tao Riverside. They're the ones that are building all these buildings up the Meridian and all the way to the right up Van Buren. Tao River. Has anybody left Riverside? No? Go to Riverside's planning and Riverside's council meetings. You want to build 2 buildings here over here in Edgemont. The least of how would I say it? They need the revenue over there. I don't hear the people complaining as far as the ones that live right there. So I think this is I guess they're getting ready for a lawsuit, come on. They're planting the seeds, they're laying the groundwork. You'll be in litigation. I hope not, just like the World Logistics Center over there. Finally, they're going to break dirt. But while they were in a lawsuit for 6 years, Meridian was building everything over there in Riverside. Nobody's telling them anything about it. I don't see all these tree huggers over there. All those buildings went up, wow, almost overnight. And they're still going up. And they're not stopping yet. So they're going to come and tell us what to do in our city? Come on. We need these jobs. We need them. And it's about time we get a piece of the pie. Riverside got it all over there. They get all the revenue, all the money. So can't we have it? If a developer wants to come here and do it, God bless him. Thank you. Because you have to fight to get something over here. They know they're going to have to go through all the loops and everything else just to get it. Because you got the tree huggers here. We need to say yes to this project. It's a good project. We got somebody from the veterans here talking about it. We got the water district talking about it. Come on, look what it's going to do for the water. How much is it going to improve that area? It's going to bring a lot of improvements to that area. Somebody was concerned about the, graffiti. Well, they said they got a wall there that can help. It comes off easier on whatever they're going to put up there. Well, we got an arts commission that wants to get murals in the city. Maybe there could be one nice mural there. People respect that, and they don't paint on it. So, there's a lot of ways we can go about this. So let's get this project. Let's vote for it. Let's keep it going, and let's bring some more. Because in the Meridian and Riverside keeps on building, and they ain't gonna stop. We are the new hub. Oh, so be it. Bring the money. We want it in the jobs.
Thank you.
There are no more speakers, Chair.
At this time, would the applicant like to provide any additional information?
Hi, Tracy Zen with TMB Planning again. Just to respond to a couple of the items, there's a couple of comments made about the South Coast Air Quality Management District letter. I actually think you probably do have a copy of it. as well as a written response is in the record. But there was a comment made about the 367 in 1 million cancer risk. That's the reported background risk that the Air District has reported. It's not the risk from this project. And what wasn't mentioned in the comments, and it is documented in the MND on page 41, that's down from 652 from the prior report from the Air District. So it's a 50% improvement in the background air quality. So yes, the state and federal government has put a lot of restrictions in place that is improving air quality in the background. I just also wanted to address all the comments about warehousing. As was presented in our presentation, these buildings only have 9 dock doors on the short side of the building. Most warehouses you see are designed with the dock doors on the long sides of the buildings and some buildings on both sides. The definition of business park, that's exactly what is the opportunity these buildings bring for tenants like research and development, light industrial assembly, exactly what that business park definition calls for. The number of trucks that are going to be coming here are probably likened to the number that come to a grocery store. There's not going to be that much activity with only 9 doors.
Thank you.
Can you explain to me what silver LEED certified means?
Yeah, so in California, the state has a green building code. It's one of the only building codes really in the United States that requires buildings in California to be built that environmentally sensitive. LEED is a national certification. When buildings meet certain standards, you can apply for and get a certificate, and it goes from normal LEED to LEED silver to LEED gold. So it's a representation of how environmentally sensitive the building is. It's easier to get the certification on a bigger building, which is why this city standard is that you don't need to get LEED silver unless you're over 50,000 square feet. And as mentioned, the applicant's willing to get the LEED silver even though they don't have to per city standard.
Thank you.